First of all, on behalf of ZionsBank, I want to welcome you all out to this luncheon honoring Jimmer Freddette, the 2011 NCAA Basketball Player of the Year, among the many titles he has earned. We appreciate him being with us today and taking time to tell us his story. He's in the building. He's signing posters that we'll be passing out to everyone here, and he should be with us in just a moment. Our goal is to create value for our communities, for our customers, for our employees, and for our shareholders. So we were happy when we announced a profitable first quarter. You see an article from Barron's on your seat. I think they were a little surprised by it, but we were thrilled with it. And the stock was up about 20 cents this morning, so I hope all of you that are shareholders, you can enjoy that value that's been created. And we hope events like this will create value for our customers and for our communities. It's a great privilege for us to have you come and join us and listen to speakers from different areas. And I think you'll be pleased to hear Jimmer speak. He's really quite a remarkable young man, as all of you know. And whether you're a Ute fan or a Weber State fan or a Utah State fan or a BYU fan, everyone in the state, I think, was rooting for Jimmer as he took the basketball scene by storm. And I was amazed that he is one of those players that you know by their first name. All you needed to say is Jimmer, and you heard people sing about him, you heard them rap about him, you heard them dance and saw them dance about him and cheer him on. And so it's really pleasing to see the great attention, positive attention that he's brought to our state, even though he's not a native son. And I must admit and maybe apologize to some of you. One came up to me this morning as they came into the luncheon and said, "Why don't you have blueberry juice? You know, you shouldn't have red juice to have Jimmer here." And so if you just pretend that's blue, maybe that will make everyone feel happy. But at your seat, you also have a brochure that talks about our Wealth Management Center. You know, and I'd encourage you to go through that. And if you have time as you go downstairs, it's just to the east of our lobby. You might enjoy going through that. We have a 16-screen media wall there that usually, and today it shows the financial news and the bond auctions and other auctions that are happening. But during March, we actually played the basketball tournaments there so that everyone could see them and enjoy them. But with that, I'd invite you to enjoy your lunch. And in a few minutes, I'll have the pleasure of introducing Jimmer to you. Thanks.
Well, if I can have your attention, I know that some of you are still waiting for your lunches, but today it's not about the food. I'm pretty sure you didn't come here to eat chicken. There's another reason why we're here today, and so please feel free to continue eating, but we're going to go ahead and get started so that we leave plenty of time for our speaker today. I actually think this is probably going to be the easiest introduction I've ever had to do of a speaker. Because today's speaker literally needs no introduction. In fact, his introduction probably could be done with just one word. If I just said Jimmer, everybody knows who that is and what that means. He has achieved one-name status, which is reserved for a very limited few people. But his name has become far more than just a name. It's been used as a noun, a verb, an adjective, and more. Anchors on ESPN SportsCenter, as well as other cable networks, have adopted the Jimmer label. It's a term used widely by sportscasters in newspapers and bloggers on the internet. It has become part of the slang of basketball and forever will be. Phrases such as, "That guy just did a Jimmer," or "Get your Jimmer on," or the most popular of all, "You got Jimmered." Even coaches across the country, in their post-game interviews in a game entirely unrelated to Jimmer, have been heard saying things like, "We tried to extend our defense tonight, but that guy went Jimmer on us. He has become a brand in and of himself, but not just because he has a great name, which he does, and not just because he's a great basketball player, which he of course is, but he's also an exceptional young man who represented himself, his team, his university, and our state very well. And so, if you'll turn your attention to the video screens, we'll get my ugly mug off of there and we'll watch a brief video presentation. I don't know that there's any more to say than what we just witnessed, but it's my pleasure to introduce the 2011 Consensus National Player of the Year, winning the John R. Wooden Award, Naismith Award, Oscar Robertson Trophy, Sporting News National Player of the Year, Adolph Rupp Trophy, Basketball Times National Player of the Year, CBSSports.com National Player of the Year, and SI.com National Player of the Year, Jimmer Freddette.
Well, that was quite the introduction. That was great. Had chills for sure. First of all, just thank you for letting me be here. This is a great opportunity for me and for everybody in this room. And hopefully, you can take some of these words and just learn a little more about me. And hopefully, I can motivate you guys a little bit and make you make all your dreams come true as well. Kind of sort of like mine is right now. So I just introduced myself, obviously. I grew up in upstate New York, Glens Falls, New York, and I had a family of 5, myself, my older brother, my older sister, then my mom and my dad. They've been unbelievable for me. They've been my support system through this whole thing, and I'll talk a lot about them, as I talk about my childhood and how they've helped me become who I am today. So first, I'll talk about my brother and sister a little bit. My brother's name's TJ, and my sister's name's Lindsay. And my brother's 7 years older than I am. I'm 22. He's 7 years older than I am. My sister is 9 years older than I am. So I always tell people that I was probably a mistake. And then I go on and say I'm the best mistake my parents have ever made. So that's the first thing. Second thing, I got into athletics because of them at a really early age. I was out there playing with them, nonstop, just outside, playing basketball, whatever it is. We didn't do very much besides play sports, whatever it was, kickball, basketball, baseball, wiffle ball. We've broken a lot of windows. We've done a lot of, things that my mom, didn't want us to do, playing all these sports. But I got into a groove at an early age, and that's where I kind of got my competitive spirit from. So there's kind of a cool story. I don't know if you guys have ever heard. My brother is a musician. He wrote this song called Amazing, and he has like a little video to this song. And you would see one of these parts. This is about my competitive spirit at a young age. I was probably 3 or 4 years old, and I was out there with my dad and my brother, and we were just shooting baskets outside. And I got to this part, and my brother he was playing one-on-one. It was like 2-on-1, my dad and I versus him. And every time I caught the ball, I'd shoot it, and he'd just swat me every single time. Like, I could never get it up. My dad tried to set picks, but he'd go around it and swat it every single time. And it was kind of funny. And my dad, I don't know if my dad said something like, let him shoot it or whatever, but there's this one thing, and you can see it on the film, and it doesn't have any sound, but you can see me do this. I was dribbling, and I went to shoot it, and TJ backed off. He backed off and put his hands down. And then I looked at him, and I was like, I went like this. And what I was telling him, I was like, put your hands up. I want you to play hard. I want you to play as hard as I can. I said, put your hands up. Don't do it. So then he went up, put his hands up. I shot it. He swatted me again. I went, and I kicked the fence and everything, and I hated it. But from that young age, I got a competitive spirit to want to be good and to want not anybody to take it easy on me, because I knew I wanted to be good at that young age. And another thing is I truly love the game. I truly love to play any type of sport, but especially basketball. And I was outside all the time. All the time. We had a dirt backyard with a little bit of grass that you could see, but most of it was pretty much dirt. And we had a couple baskets out there my parents put up. And my mom always said the more dirty that I was, the better day I had. So that's kind of how she gauged how hard I've worked or how well I played during the day. So that's just kind of a little bit about how I got my competitive spirit. Then as I got older, since I loved the game, my brother saw that I really enjoyed playing and enjoyed having this. He started to really take an interest in me and thought I could be a pretty good player. So we started to drill. We started to do a lot of different things. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard many of these different stories that I've been through. But how it all got started is when I got into middle school, he wrote this contract. And you kind of saw it on that video right there. There's a little contract, and it's still hanging up in my bed today. Me and him shared a room, and we posted it, and it said, I, and then it had a line, and then it said, will make the necessary and proper sacrifices to reaching my ultimate goal of making the NBA. Then I had a witness line and a signature line. So he signed the witness line, I signed the signature line. But the first thing I did is I went up on the line where I said I and then blank, I put Jimmer Freddette. He looked at me, he's like, Jimmer, this is an official contract. You don't put nicknames on here. So he ripped it up, wrote it all over again, so I had to sign James T. Freddette on it. And then we got it, we posted it up on the wall, and that was how I got it started. And I thought it was stupid. I thought it was stupid at the time. But as I got older, I got to see that every single night before I went to bed, I saw that. I saw it, and I would go to bed dreaming about becoming an NBA basketball player. So it was always in my head. So that's a good thing to remember is always write down your goals. Write down what you want to accomplish, put it up so that you can see it wherever it is, and go out and be able to see it every single day. And then that really, really helps you with trying to stay driven in what you want to accomplish. I think the biggest thing, I just really worked hard every single day to get to where I'm at today. A lot of things that you hear, is glorified, in the media maybe just about all the things that I've done. And a lot of it was really hard work, things as far as going out. And my brother would put on these work gloves, like garden gloves. And I'd go out and we had a little slab of cement. And it was pretty small, but what I would do is I'd put these on and I'd dribble the basketball on this slab of cement. And TJ would come up and he would try to steal the ball from me. So I had to keep it low, keep it controlled. And he would try to bump me so that I fell off of the little slab. And that's where I learned how to have body control, had good hand strength because of the garden gloves, had a great feel for the ball. And all these things that you hear, it's glorified, but it's really hard work. And that's what you have to go out there if you want to accomplish your goals. Just a little bit about my mom and my dad. They're great people. I love them, so much. I wouldn't be here without them. And one thing that you don't hear about, you hear a lot about my brother and how they've helped me become a great basketball player. But you don't hear much about my mom and my dad. And they are just as big or bigger in my development and become a great basketball player. There's many times when I have wanted to go to a gym and to shoot, and my mom would come and she would rebound for me. And, she's a small little lady, and she would come in and she, would pass me the ball, and she was always wearing flip-flops, so she'd come in with the flip-flops, she'd take her flip-flops off, she'd wear she would wear no shoes, she'd be barefoot in there, and she'd run around and grab the ball and throw it back, and she had no problems with doing that every single day. Same with my sister or my dad. Whenever I needed someone was there to go with me to play basketball, and I can't thank them enough for that. Just how they want to be a part of this and how they see that I wanted this goal, and they all helped me reach it. So it's important to have these types of good people around you, and I can't thank them enough for that. The next thing I want to talk about is just a little bit about the defeats that I've went through to make me into the player I am today and the person I am today as well. Because a lot of people, you hear about the good things. I've had a lot of things that haven't gone right in my life where I've had to overcome. And it's the same thing with all of your guys' life. There's things that aren't perfect, all the time, but the key is to stay driven and to overcome them. So when I was in high school, this was the first thing. This was the real first time that, I really felt terrible about a sporting event. Growing up, you get mad and everything, but it was a big thing, and it kind of, it got all the way out there, all through the state, and people knew all about it. So what happened was, I was only a sophomore in high school, and my whole team was pretty much built of sophomores in our high school team, and we were pretty good. We had a good class. And we went out and we played, and we made it to the sectional finals. I don't know what it would be equivalent to here, because they do it a little bit differently around here than they do back in New York. But it was pretty far into the state tournament, and we were all sophomores, so no one expected us really to be there. And we were playing this team that was very, very good, really high touted in the state, and we were playing them so well, and we got it down, and it was a 1-point game throughout the whole thing. Finally, we get there, and I got the ball at the end of the game. There was about 10 seconds left, and we were down 1, and I had the ball, went in, took the ball, went in, got a layup, got fouled, missed the layup, got fouled. So I got to the foul line, and a lot of you know that's my bread and butter. I'm good at the foul line. That's what I do. And so I got to the foul line, and they called timeout, tried to ice me a couple times. And, coach was all confident. All right, after he makes these, we're not going to foul. We're not going to do anything. We're just going to let the time run out. I was like, yeah, let's do it, and all this. I was real excited. I got to the foul line, got it, right, missed the first one. I was like, oh, man, I guess still got a chance, all right? Got a chance to put it in overtime. They called another timeout, all these things. Came back out. I was a little more nervous this time because I just missed the first one. Came back out, shot it, missed, game over, lost in the sectional finals. I had 2 free throws to get it either into overtime or to win, and we lost. And then I had a huge picture in the paper the next day of me. I was on the bench, and I was like leaning back all the way as far as I possibly could with my head back, and I was just like, they had to put that there, and everyone's seeing this. And it was tough for me because I was only like 16 years old at the time. I was pretty young, and but I decided that wasn't going to happen to me again. I wanted to make sure that at the end of the game I can make those foul shots. So every single day, after every single workout, I always had to make 100 free throws every single day. And that's where you get that muscle memory. And now I don't think I missed the free throw to lose the game, since I've been here at BYU or ever since. So that's good. But it's just making sure that you drive through those and make sure that you keep pushing forward. Even if there is defeats. I've talked to Brian about this a lot and other people. I wasn't very highly recruited out of high school. I was a small town kid. Not a lot of people knew about me. And all these Big East schools that I dreamed to go to, that I watched, like Syracuse and UConn, and they were very close to me. They weren't far at all. Never got any interest from any of them. And that was tough, but I decided to keep moving, and BYU came in and decided to give me a chance. And, I've proved a lot of people wrong because of that. We've talked to a lot of Big East schools, and I saw a lot of the coaching staffs, and they were like, where are you from? And I was like, I'm from upstate New York. They're like, oh, my gosh, how did we miss you? I don't know what happened. Where are you from? Like, where were you? What did you do? I was like, you guys just didn't see me, and they're just so it's kind of a little bit of payback. So that's kind of fun to be able to do that, kind of rub it in their face a little bit. But it's also, again, making sure that just because I didn't go to the biggest school or get recruited the biggest out of all these other players, that just drove me even more to want to reach my goals, to want to do all these great things that I've been able and fortunate to do. I'm going to talk a little bit about the goals that I've set. I haven't really told many people these goals, but it's interesting really to hear these goals and to see how close or how well I've done to reach these goals. When I was in high school, the first goal that I wanted to make was there's this kid, his name was Mike Van Squike. He was a very good basketball player, one of the best basketball players that ever came out of Glens Falls High School. Played Division I. It's a real small town, so not a lot of great athletes come out of it, but he was very, very good, and he was about 4 or 5 years older than I was. So one of my goals my brother and I formulated was I wanted to be as good as he was as a senior in college, as an 11th grader in high school. And that's hard to judge, but if I knew if I could get to that level as an 11th grader in high school, that I could be on my way to being a good, very good Division I player, at least get a scholarship Division I, and then move on to the next goal. So I worked every single day for that, as hard as I possibly could. And then he came back to play against us that senior year. I mean, when I was a junior, and he was in college, he came back to play against us in these pickup games and in practice, and I would play, and I'd do just as well as he would. And my coach was like, Mike, why aren't you guarding him? And he's like, I'm trying. So it was good. So I knew I was getting close at that point. So I knew I was getting close to being there. As I got to college, I formulated a lot more goals. The first one, my freshman year, is I just wanted to come in and do anything I could and make an impact on the team. And that's what I did. I came in, I didn't start, but I was a good teammate. I worked hard every single day in practice. I went out and I made an impact in a lot of big games for us that freshman year. So that goal was a little more vague, but as I went down, my sophomore year, I knew I was going to be able to get into the starting role and have a bigger part in the team, so I wanted to be Mountain West Conference first team. And my sophomore year, I was able to do that. I was able to get in, sophomore year, I was able to be Mountain West Conference first team. And I also have a lot of at least individual goals and numbers that I want to reach, as being a basketball player, like the number of points or assists that I try to, formulate my game to get to. But that was the next goal. The next goal was kind of interesting. Was my junior year going in, I knew that I still wasn't nationally known real well, but I knew that if I played well, our team was going to be very good, so I was going to be able to, make an impact nationally. And my goal was to be a third-team All-American. That was my goal. And as the season went on, I played well, had some big games and everything. Everything went well. Really worked hard. Became a third-team All-American. That's the third goal. The last goal, I knew that I had a great season junior year, and a lot of people were like, "Hey, you got to go to the NBA. You had a great year. You can't surpass that. You can't do better. You can't do any better than what you did your junior year. This is your time. You're hot right now. Go out and do it." I said, "Well, maybe you're right," but I decided to come back, and I knew that I could do it. So I knew that I had to pick up my level even more so that I could reach my goal of being in the NBA, because there's a lot of kids, if you did come back and you don't play as well, you just get off the radar. And I knew I'd have to do that. So what I did is I wanted to be the player of the year. That's exactly what I wanted to do. And I talked about it with my brother and my family. He said, my brother told me, he's like, "Hey, if you come back, you have to be the player of the year. That's the only way that I'm going to let you come back to school." So I said, "Okay, all right, I'll do it. I'll work as hard as I possibly can, and I'll go out there and do everything I can." And now I'm here today as player of the year, and it feels great. But it's just amazing how if you really set these goals and really are driven towards these goals, that you can accomplish these things. And I'm just a prime example of that, and it's great to hear. In order to reach these goals, I've had to sacrifice a lot of different things. A lot of things that maybe looked appealing at the time. Like I was telling our table here, I was the only LDS member in my whole school. So I was kind of the face of the church there. And people didn't really know much about the church, but they knew that I was Mormon. They knew that I was the Mormon kid around. So I had to make a good example for these people. And the biggest thing for me is to know that my brother and sister both went to school doing the same things that I did, and they were very, very good. Everyone loved TJ and Lindsay. They were always good, great examples, so I couldn't mess that up. I wasn't going to mess that up for the Freddette family or for the LDS church. So I had a lot of different things, and what I did is I put my focus into basketball instead of those other things. And in the long run, it has really helped. There's been many times where people, "Hey, let's go to this party. There's going to be a party over here. We're going to have a good time. There'll be a lot of girls. You have a great time." And I was like, I probably shouldn't. I can't. And I'm just going to go. I'll stay home, or I'll go and I'll shoot. I'll play basketball. I got to go. Do these different things to reach my goals. And as that's happened, since my success in basketball back in the area, that became almost the cool thing to do. Instead of going to these parties, it became no, let's not. Let's go play basketball, or let's go play another sport, or let's go do other things. And that was great for me to see that I had an impact on these kids. Even the kids that were my age or older had an impact because they seen what I've gone through. They saw the success that I've had, and they wanted that. And they started to veer off of that bad path, and that's great to see. That's why I'm here. I'm in a position today to be a good example to kids and to try to, veer them on the right path and just show them that you can do everything you want to do even if you do it the right way. And that's a big thing for me. I want to talk a little bit about my time at BYU. I had an unbelievable experience here. Like I said, when I first got there, it was very frustrating for me. I was never used to not playing a lot of minutes in a basketball game. And I didn't really know anybody. I didn't have a whole lot of friends outside of the team. I didn't know, what was going on. It was kind of a culture shock for me. But when I got there, I wasn't playing as much as I wanted to do. That just added to the frustration. But the biggest thing is that I stayed tough, and I used that as motivation. I've used that every single day as motivation in practice to go out and to play as hard as I possibly could and show Coach Rose that I was better than the person that he was playing in front of me. And I did that. I tried to do that every single day. And, towards the end of the year, I started to get more minutes. And, the person actually in front of me got hurt a little bit. So I was able to come in and play in a big game. And this is another thing I wanted to touch on is that when you get an opportunity to do something, you have to be fully prepared so that when you have that opportunity, you're able to succeed and you're able to, take advantage of the opportunity. And that's what I did. He got hurt a little bit. I know it was unfortunate. He just sprained his ankle a little bit. I was able to get in there and play. And Coach Rose, from that point on, really had a lot of trust in me. But I really worked hard. I waited it out. I was still a great teammate for everyone to be around. And then when I got that opportunity, it took off from there. That's a big thing. And then from the sophomore year onto junior year and the senior year, I started every single game. And, everything has been great from there. I just wanted to talk a little bit about being part of a team, just like you guys are. My teammates is the biggest reason, on the floor of why I've had success as a basketball player individually. Without the great team that I've had, there wouldn't be the Jimmer. There wouldn't be any of that stuff. Since my team was great, we were able to get a lot of national exposure, and because of that, and how I've played, they kind of took it and then had all this other things about myself individually. But that would not have happened if I had a really bad team. I know tons of players in college and in high school that have been unbelievable players, great players, didn't have a good team around them, and then a person on a very good team that wasn't quite as good would get all the recognition. So it's really important to have a great team. Without them, I wouldn't be, in this position. It's also to have a great team is it helps you with your support as well. I mean, last year I went through a tough time where I had mono and I wasn't able to play for some of the big games in conference, and it was tough for me because I wanted to be out there playing with my teammates, but they all rallied around me, said, "Hey, we got your back. You're going to be okay. You're going to be back with us soon. We'll take care of it now, but we want you to get back as soon as you can. We want you to get back healthy." And they were great support just to be around them and to joke around with them and have a good time with them off the floor and keep me, sane since I wasn't able to play in the games. Because y'all know, Brian knows that if you can't play in a game, you just are sick to your stomach. You want to play so badly. So it was great. And it's the same with you guys. You guys are part of a great team. ZionsBank is an unbelievable bank here in Utah and the surrounding areas. And without the success of your whole team, you guys wouldn't be here in this position today. But since you have a great team set in place, you guys can reach any individual goal that you have for yourself because of this great team. So if you all come together and have an unbelievable, time here at ZionsBank, just really love the time with the people, the relationships that you have here, really enjoy the ride, then you're able to reach your goals as a person and as a worker and as a family member, as a husband or wife, whatever it is. you can reach these goals, but it all starts with having a great team. And that's what I've learned the most, at being at BYU. I just want to, last thing, touch on, you're also in a position, everybody here is in a position to help people, including myself. And that's the most important thing to me by far, not even close. The great basketball, on the floor basketball things are great. I love playing. I've had a great time playing. But since I'm able to do that, now I'm able to help other people, help kids with what they want to do. And it's the same thing with you guys, as your family members or whatever it is in your community, through charities, whatever it is, you guys are in the position to help people. And that's something that's been really important to me. The first thing you got to do is you guys are surrounded by great people, as am I. Keep it that way. Because if you don't, you can veer off of these paths and get into some tough situations. And I've seen it firsthand with many of my friends and many kids that I've played with, and they have all the talent in the world, but they're not in that position to help people, and they're the ones that really need the help because they don't have that great support system, that great team. So just make sure that you do that, and you'll be able to succeed in whatever you do. So those are my remarks that I had for you guys. I don't want to just sit here and talk in front of everybody. I'm sure you're all bored. I'm sure the chicken was better than the actual speech. But I wanted to open it up to questions. To anybody that had any questions for me about anything, this is the time to do it. So we'll start over here.
Jimmer, you talked about your goals in the past. How about going forward?
Going forward, yeah, that's a great question. A lot of goals. First thing, I want to, get into an MBA. You have to get into the right situation. But my first goal is to be in the Rookie of the Year hunt. That's what I want to do. I want to go out there and I want to make an impact on the team and hopefully be able to get in a situation where I can play a lot and be able to try to be in that Rookie of the Year race. That's a goal of mine. I know if I can do that, I'll be in the right situation and I'll be playing well. I'll have a good team around me and I'll have good coaches around me that really trust in what I do. And if I do that, then I can, hopefully be in that race, and that'll help my career, going forth. And then once that happens, I'll create some more goals, but I haven't gotten quite there yet. Yes?
What is your preparation now in getting ready to be drafted for the NBA?
Yeah,
it's going through.
It's tough right now. I'm trying to. There's a lot of different aspects. I'm trying to find an agent. First of all, I have the Final Four meetings this weekend, so I'll be able to do that by the end of the month. But just the workouts, I work out with my Uncle Lee Taft, and he's been my trainer since I was 4 years old because my brother would always go to him, and I would just kind of tag along. And so I've been training with him. He's out here now, and he's out here training me for the last 2 weeks. And I had a workout before I came here, and I was on the floor, and I couldn't breathe, and I was like trying to get up, and he's like, get up and walk around. I was like, no, I don't want to. It's killing me. So I'm going through some tough time right now, just really working hard, getting ready for these NBA combines, and then also the pre-draft camps I have to go to because you have to make a good impression. So I'm just really working hard, twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day in the gym, working out. So it's a tough process.
I heard you play in the Lake Tahoe golf tournament.
Oh man, yeah, not too good, to be honest with you. I haven't played very much. I'm not the greatest golfer in the world, but I need to get out there and start playing a little more. I like it. I think it's fun, but it's frustrating right now because I'm not very good. But once I get better, it'll become more of a passion, I think. So I just got to get out there and play more.
Yeah, back there. What's your favorite collegiate victory?
Favorite collegiate victory? The favorite victory was probably against Gonzaga. When we made it to the Sweet 16, that was something we haven't done for a long time, and I absolutely loved that. I also liked winning at UNLV because we haven't done that in a long time, and they had all the confidence in the world. They didn't think they could lose to us there, and we went in to beat them. That was a great feeling as well. So those are probably the two.
Yeah. What do you listen to before the game? Wear headphones.
I do. I wear headphones, the big headphones. I listen to my brother, really. He's made a lot of songs, 2 songs for me. One of them's amazing, another one's a grand finale. So I listen to those and just listen to him and the words and the preparation that I've been through to get here. I've had times where I was in the locker room where I'm listening and everybody's joking around. I don't like to joke around too much before the game. I kind of just focus, and I've had times where I wanted to, I got pretty emotional, and just listening to those words, but get your mindset right so that every single time you play as hard as you can. Back there.
How often did you play with the inmates? Tell us a little bit about that experience.
We played in two medium security correctional facilities, Mount McGregor and Washington, and we would go and we knew the guy that ran the recreation part of the prison. And what he did is he thought it would be cool for the inmates that were on good behavior to play against some of the guys, the outsiders. And he approached my brother on that and talked to him about it. And then TJ jumped right on. He's like, yeah, of course. I'm bringing Jimmer too. So, and I was like, all right, well, yeah, let's go play. And it was kind of a cool experience. We only played I only played about 4 or 5 times. TJ's played a lot more. But it was an intimidating experience at first, to go in there and to play against all these people, and they had the inmates come in and they would sit on the bleachers and they'd bet who they wanted to win. Most of the times they didn't like us. Then they gained more respect as we played. But it was a fun experience, and if you can play there, you play anywhere. Let's put it that way.
Who's your NBA hero? Who's the most likely to emulate?
Yeah, when I grew up, I used to like a couple guys. I really liked John Stockton a lot. With the Jazz, just how he was a small white point guard who could really dribble the basketball and pass, and he was a tough-minded guy. With some of those screens that he set down low against those big guys is, put a smile on my face, because that's what I like to do too, screen those guys. Just being a football player as well, go out there and hit some people. But he was great, and then I liked watching Mark Jackson for the New York Knicks, how he was a big point guard. How he could pass the ball off the dribble so well, and just how he used his body against all these quicker guys in order to create space and to do all these great things. So, yep. Back there.
Big spotlight you've had the last little while going forward. How do you keep your feet on the ground? Sort of who you are and not change.
Well, the biggest thing is that, like I said before, is have good people around you, and I've had great people around me, and they wouldn't let me step out of line. My mom would smack me, and she'd be like, well, "You're not that cool," you know what I mean? And I have people tell me that all the time. My family, I have a girlfriend who tells me that all the time, and everybody involved. That's why it's so important to have good people around you, because if you don't, people get those bigger heads, and you can see it in some of these people because they have people that they bring in who's their posse or whatever, and it's not it's not the best thing for them. So it's always keep that type. And I as a person, I just always remember, like I said, it's not that important that I'm a great basketball player. It's important that I'm a good person. It's important that people like me. That's the most important thing, and I've been raised like that. And since I've been raised like that, that's how I approach it. It's not that big of a deal. It's great to be in the position, but you're in the position to help people now.
Your name is associated with another great Mormon, Danny Ainge. How do you feel about that? And do you ever talk to Danny? Do you ever communicate with Danny?
Yes, I have talked to Danny quite a few times actually, and he's been a huge help in the process of last year when I wanted to test the NBA waters. Helping me with that decision, and also with these agents. He's been talking to me a lot about these agents and just he's been in the same position as I have, and how to kind of be able to handle it all. So he's been in contact with me. I'm very fortunate to be able to have a guy that is that nice and that kind to step out of it. He's busy right now. He's in the playoffs. He's a bishop. He's got tons of things going on, but he takes time out of his day to talk to me. To make sure that I'm doing well and that I have a good head on my shoulders. So I appreciate that a lot. And a lot of the BYU people that have been involved, I've been able to talk to, and they've really helped me out in those positions, so it's great of them. One more question? One more question.
Just wanted to give you a heads up when you get married, that contract over the bed, don't fight it, it's going away.
It's going away? Oh, man. Yeah, I know. I don't know, man. I'm sure it will. I got to keep it at my house in Glens Falls, so I won't have it over the bed, but I'll have it in Glens Falls so that I can always keep it out of the way, so that would be good. Well, great. Well, again, I appreciate ZionsBank, Scott Anderson, for letting me be able to come, and Rob for letting me be able to come and to do this great. They've been great with BYU. The sponsorship that they've had with BYU has been a great thing for us as athletes, because we have great facilities and all these great things. So we really appreciate that, and thanks for letting me come. So thanks.
Well, Jimmer, thank you for your remarks and for being with us today. We're proud of you, and we wish you well as you move into the next phase of your career. And while we recognize that you're from upstate New York, I hope you'll remember wherever you go, and we hope you stay close as you move into the NBA, that you'll always remember that you're an adopted son of Utah. And to help you remember that Utah is one of your homes, at least, we have for you a cowboy hat. Let's see if that fits. And a cowboy vest, so you'll be in style wherever you go.
I appreciate that.
Thank you so much. We're starting to hit you with you. And we can get that smaller. Thanks. Jimmer needs to leave as he has another appointment. He needs to be back in Utah County, so we thank him for being with us, and we wish him well and good luck, and we appreciate all the great memories that you have given us over this past year. As I mentioned, he has signed one of these posters for all of you, so as you leave, we'll give you one of these posters, and I'm sure it won't be on eBay, but it probably could get some money if it were. But again, thanks for being with us. We wish you well, and I thank everyone here for being with us today at lunch.